Today we have some very sad news to share with you all. I think this is going to come as much of a shock to you as it did to us. But we have officially decided to stop producing organic duck eggs and to stop farming commercially. As many of you know, we've had troubles, and we had plans for the future. We had plans. We had quite a lot of hope actually, and then something happened which significantly changes things, and to be honest has kind of thrown our world upside down. So I'm going to start from the beginning and share that news with you, so that you guys can see the situation that we face and why we've made this decision. So this actually all begins early last year. We started working on a potential opportunity to ship hatching eggs to a customer, somebody who had approached us from Europe, who were really keen on our ducks, our khaki Campbell genetics, the way that we raise them, how we breed them, and they didn't have access to khaki Campbells where they were. So they wanted to order a large number of hatching eggs from us, and this was because hatching eggs are very valuable. This presented us with a really great opportunity, but a complicated one because we had to get an export license. We've actually been working on this for some time now, and it was about to come to fruition. We were about to start shipping hatching eggs to this customer. But part of the conditions of the export license is that you have to meet certain criteria, and so just before you start shipping, you have to test your flock. One of the conditions is that you have to test your flock for salmonella. Now, some of you might know that this is not actually a requirement. Generally, you don't need to be salmonella testing. For a producer of our size and in our situation, we weren't actually required to test for salmonella. And to be quite honest with you, it never even crossed our minds that we might have it, because a flock has always looked healthy, and we take a lot of care in the way that we raise our flock, and we keep things tidy. And anybody who's come here and visited us, and there have been a few, will tell you that the house is smell free. I mean, for a duck farm to smell fresh and clean, that was what we were quite proud of. And so it never occurred to us that we might have salmonella, and you can see where I'm going with this. We tested positive for salmonella. And from everything that I've been told by the vets and the officials that I've been talking to, it is very, very common for ducks to be carrying salmonella. And to keep the flock free of salmonella is actually not an easy task. It involves a lot of sterilization, a lot of very strict biosecurity, vaccination. So we should have probably seen this coming, and I think that we were a bit naive really to think that we would pass our salmonella test with flying colors. The first thing actually that I'd like to say, and especially to all of our customers who are eating our eggs, is nobody has gotten sick. This was a voluntary salmonella test, and since we started doing this, we've never had anyone get sick. We've never gotten sick. I spend every single day in this duck house with the ducks. Our our baby daughter eats our eggs, and it's important just to say that it doesn't necessarily mean that the eggs have salmonella in them. They have been washed. We wash our eggs according to best practice, and we pay very close attention to hygiene and how we wash those eggs. And this is part of the reason why all duck eggs are washed, because they're laid on the ground, and they need people need to handle them with care, because there is always a risk. So, but nobody has gotten sick. This was a voluntary test, and but although we haven't even yet had any official instruction from the government to stop selling our eggs, that's not actually happened yet. As of this moment, whatever time it is right now on Monday that I'm filming this, but we've made the decision regardless to shut down the egg business. Unfortunately, the only solution to this problem is for us to depopulate the entire flock and to start from scratch. And we've looked very hard at it, and by the time we've done all that, depopulated, sterilized, hatched out brand new ducks, vaccinated, there is no guarantee that we can keep them salmonella free without really changing the nature of the farm and turning it into perhaps more of an industrial setup. And beyond that, there's just not enough incentive for us to continue being egg producers anymore. With avian flu restrictions being like they are, the price of organic feed, the amount of labor and time that goes into keeping the flock for commercial egg production. Remember, this is a 365-day job. If we can't afford to pay anyone to work for us, then we have to work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If we get ill, we still have to be at work. It doesn't matter. There's no one there to cover us. The ducks need feeding, the ducks need water, the ducks need looking after, the eggs need collecting, the eggs need washing, the eggs need packing. And so for these reasons, it's just not, we have to, at some point, we have to draw the line and look after our own mental, emotional, and financial health. And for that reason, we're not going to get back into producing eggs. So I want to apologize to all of our loyal customers who've been purchasing our eggs up until this point. First of all, I'm sorry that we didn't know that we were carrying salmonella. And second of all, I'm sorry that we're not starting up again to be able to supply you with organic eggs. I also want to apologize to everybody who supported our crowdfunding campaign. You guys were rooting for us, and you were hoping that we would continue farming, and so were we. So I'm sorry to all of you that we've not been able to continue doing that. So a few days ago, we decided to stop producing duck eggs. We've also said for quite a while that if we were going to stop farming commercially, that we would sell the farm and move on to the next challenge. And we made that decision a few days ago that we would stop producing eggs and that we would sell the farm. Keeping the farm is an expensive hobby. It's not cheap, and it takes up a lot of time. And there's a significant amount of capital that we've got tied up in these fields. If we sell these fields, we can free up that capital and we can pay off the loans that we currently have. And by getting a job somewhere else, we've got some financial security. So that was why we wanted to sell the farm. And we sat with that decision for a couple of days. It was an incredibly painful decision to make. And we haven't cried as much as we have over the last few days in a very long time. And the decision to sell the farm was just too painful to bear. The idea that our little girl will not be able to, will walk past the gates and not be able to come onto the farm and not be able to see the ducks and not be able to enjoy the space any longer, and that this farm will just be a memory for her and nothing more. That was too painful to even imagine, and so we've decided that we're not going to sell the farm. We're going to keep the farm. How we make ends meet and how we make it work financially is not yet decided. We don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but we're going to keep the farm and we're going to continue to play and experiment and use it as a bit of a sandbox and a place where we can explore different ideas without being bound by the realities of commercial agriculture. And that pains me to say, because we feel really strongly about the fact that we need more farmers, more young farmers, and we need them to be doing it with the purpose of food production in mind. And it pains me to be saying that we're getting out of commercial food production, because we need farmers, but unfortunately we're just not able to do that any longer. Perhaps one day we will get back into commercial agriculture, so who knows what will come next. We're going to continue to document what we're doing here on Park Carrig. So until next time, see you then.